He looked me dead in the eyes, picked up my dinner plate, and gave half of it to his mother after I explicitly said no. And then he called me stingy. Was I being selfish for wanting to enjoy the meal I paid for? Or did I just hit a breaking point after constantly being treated like my needs come last? This isn't just a story about food. It's about boundaries, respect, and the silent battles that happen when we live under the same roof with in-laws. I'm 24 years old, and I've been married to my husband Eric for a little over 2 years now. He's 27, and for the most part, we've had a solid relationship. Communication's usually good, we laugh a lot, we support each other's goals. Or at least, I thought we did. Until recently, I never realized just how differently we define the word respect. Let me back up a little. I grew up in a house with 2 sisters. That meant sharing wasn't just encouraged, it was enforced. Toys, clothes, space, silence, food, you name it. If I didn't give up half my cookie, I was called selfish. If I wanted to finish the last scoop of mac and cheese, I had to be ready for a guilt trip. And I get it, that's part of growing up in a family. But somewhere along the way, I stopped associating sharing with kindness and started associating it with giving up my wants to make other people comfortable. My husband, on the other hand, was an only child, which isn't a bad thing. IT's just a completely different blueprint. He never had to fight for the last slice of pizza or hide snacks in his sock drawer. He's used to the idea that his food is his, but for some reason, he doesn't seem to extend that same logic to mine. Especially since his mother moved in. His mom, June, is in her early 70s. She's retired and, honestly, a sweet woman in a lot of ways. When his dad passed last year, it hit her hard. She ended up needing to sell their home and downsize quickly. Eric didn't hesitate. He told her she could move into our basement. I supported the decision. Family supports family, and I knew she was grieving. We made it comfortable for her. Private bathroom, TV, mini kitchenette, separate entrance. And to be fair, she's not in our space constantly. She mostly keeps to herself, comes upstairs occasionally to watch a movie with us, and joins us for meals maybe once a week when I make something big or she offers to cook. She doesn't pay rent, which we're fine with. She raised him, after all. This wasn't about money, it was about support. But the little things, they started to add up. It always started the same way. I'd pick up fast food on my way home from work. I work full-time and sometimes don't have the energy to cook. I'd ask Eric what he wanted. I'd ask myself what I wanted. And I'd order accordingly. Never once did he say, "Hey, should we get something for my mom too?" But the second I'd walk through the door, bag in hand, he'd call down to her. "Hey Mom, we got burgers, want one?" And I'd freeze. Because we didn't get burgers. I got burgers. For me and him. That's it. Of course, June would come upstairs, smile, and say, "Oh, just a bite is fine," or "I'll take whatever you don't want." But I wanted all of it. Not because I'm greedy, but because I was hungry. And because I paid for it. And because that was the plan. Over time, I started buying extra just in case. But even then, it irritated me. Why was I expected to think of her when Eric didn't even bring her up during the planning? And here's the kicker. June never asked. She wasn't imposing. It was always him offering my food. Now here's where things finally snapped. Last week, I had one of those cravings that just won't let up. You know the kind. I wanted stuffed shells, cheesy, saucy, comforting. The kind of meal that makes your entire week better. There's a little Italian place in town that makes incredible stuffed shells. 2 huge shells, baked in marinara, covered in melted mozzarella. It's not a giant portion, but it's perfect. I told Eric I wanted that for dinner, and he agreed. We placed our order, him choosing his usual. Some chicken Alfredo thing I don't love, me practically drooling in anticipation of my shells. We picked it up, drove home. I set the table, grabbed drinks, and finally, opened the container to see those beautiful shells. Then I hear it. "Hey Mom, want some Italian?" We just picked some up. I turned, stunned. "Eric," I said, "please don't offer my food. I've been looking forward to this all day." He raised an eyebrow. She can just have a little. You're not gonna eat it all anyway. I blinked. There are 2 shells. That's it. I want both. She can have one. I'll share mine with you, he said, like it was settled. June, clearly sensing the tension, said gently, oh honey, it's fine. I'll just have some of yours, Eric. But he wasn't done. He walked over, picked up my plate, and moved one of my shells to hers. I sat there stunned, rage simmering beneath the surface. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just deflated. That was supposed to be my dinner. I ate what was left. Slowly, bitterly. Eric tried to give me some of his, but I declined. I didn't like his dish. He knew I didn't like it. That's why I ordered my own. After June went back downstairs, I turned to him. Why did you do that? I asked quietly. He shrugged. You were being stingy. I stared at him. I told you I wanted that meal. I paid for it, and you just gave half of it away without asking me. She's my mom, he said flatly. She's living with us. We can't just exclude her. She wasn't excluded, I said. She wasn't included because it wasn't her dinner. You didn't even ask her if she wanted anything when we were ordering. He rolled his eyes. It's not that deep. But it was that deep. Because it wasn't just about food anymore. It was about boundaries. About my autonomy. About whether I was allowed to have anything to myself in my own home. This wasn't an isolated moment. It was the culmination of every small, dismissive choice when he assumed I'd cook extra. Without asking. When he invited her to eat without checking with me first. When he put her comfort above my feelings again and again. And when I tried to explain how it made me feel, he laughed it off. Said I was hangry, dramatic, selfish. That word, stingy, echoed in my head for days. I was called stingy for wanting to eat the dinner I bought. The dinner I craved. The dinner I waited all day for. And that word brought back memories. Of being forced to share. Of being guilt-tripped. Of never being allowed to say, this is mine and I want it. So now I'm asking the internet. Am I wrong? Was I wrong for drawing a line for saying, no, this is mine? Or was Eric wrong for assuming that because I can share, I should every time? Where is the line between generosity and self-sacrifice? Was this about food or about feeling invisible? I don't want to fight about meals. I don't want to feel like the villain for wanting a moment of joy that I created for myself. But if I don't speak up now, what happens when it's something bigger? Maybe I was too harsh. Or maybe I finally stopped being too soft. So tell me, honestly, am I wrong for not wanting to share with my mother-in-law? Or did my husband cross a line by choosing her comfort over my voice? This isn't just about pasta, it's about power, priorities, and personal boundaries. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe for more real-life moral dilemmas that hit where it hurts. And remember, sometimes the pettiest seeming things reveal the deepest cracks in our relationships. Until next time, don't be afraid to protect your plate.